Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. Welcome back to Undercover Lies, the site that tells it like it is in respect to Donald J. Trump, who wanted to become the first ever dictator of America, much as Putin is in charge or dictator in Russia. We expose the Donald J. Trump's role in January 6th insurrection and the trash that helped him almost overthrow our democracy. This week in Trader's Row, we dive deep into Trump's most loyal sycophant, ex-addict, and pillow seller, Mike Lindell. But first, let's take a look at this edition's Week of Woe. In this edition's Week of Woe, we see that Trump continues to be Putin's cheerleader for his attack on Ukraine. But now, it seems that more upbeat Republicans are jumping on Putin's bandwagon. Madison Cawthorn, Republican, North Carolina, is now spewing Putin's rhetoric concerning Ukraine in that it is okay for Putin to attack another country because of its supposed corruption. What business is it of Putin's whether or not Ukraine government is corrupt? The Russian government is corrupt. Is it okay to attack them on that basis? Still, Trump and his idiot sycophants in the land of freedom are toting Putin's ideology, a dictator who rules Russia with an iron hand. Republicans just love dictators and wanted Trump to be theirs. But the more it seems that Trump touts Putin's genius and playbook on Ukraine, the more it appears he loses support here in America. Except, of course, from MAGA. But then again, MAGA are a bunch of traitors who supported a wannabe dictator. The second topic of interest in this week's Week of Woe is that there are some reports out there that some senators are pushing back on Trump's declaration that Putin is a genius. Kevin McCarthy, wannabe Speaker of the House, came out and said that Putin is not a genius. Finally, McCarthy distanced his lips from Trump's ass and actually said something against their Führer. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's amazing that a sitting U.S. Senator bows down to a used-to-be, washed-up, former ex-resident of the White House. These people just don't seem to get that message. He lost. McCarthy should take a page from Giuliani's Loyalty to Trump book and see what loyalty means to Trump. Nothing. Loyalty doesn't mean a damn thing to Trump unless it is loyalty to Putin, or to Trump's tiny fascist village where he was born in Germany. But actually New York, according to official birth certificates. No accounting for stupidity. Finally, in this Week of Woe, we have news that Republicans are taking donations from Russian oligarchs to help them win elections here in the United States. The oligarchs gave a sum to the tune of $150,000 to the Republican Party. While this doesn't represent a huge amount of money, it is still illegal to take money from a foreign country, much less an enemy state, to help win elections. It does represent a disturbing trend that the Republicans are taking money from a foreign dictator to beat Democratic opponents and possibly other Republicans who don't meet with Donald J. Trump's idea of a good Republican. Trump finally got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, as it were. Well, that ends this edition of our Week of Woe. Now let's get into Trader's Row, where we look at or take a deep dive into Mike Lindell, the ex-addict and pillow maker.
So I got the idea one day when I was getting fucked real hard, but these guys took all my money, broke my neck, so there I was, flopping around like a fish out of water, and it was like, you know, God spoke to me and told me, Mike, pull yourself together, man, because you need to start selling pillows because, well, everyone uses pillows, you know, I'm sure you do.
Okay, yeah, I've used one before.
Discussing Michael James Lindell, who was born on June 28, 1961. So that makes him about 60 years old, but this guy still acts like a malicious child who touts his boss's lies about the election being stolen from his boss, Donald J. Trump. Michael has been saying for over a year that he has proof, although even his cyber employees that he hired say that his evidence was crap and told him that they did not prove election fraud. Just a bunch of jumbled letters and numbers, Lindell says, was proof. Lindell had offered $5 million to anybody that could prove that his evidence was crap.
If you've ever dreamed of being a millionaire without actually having to work for it, then MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has the offer for you. For the price of attending his cyber symposium that's supposed to take place in mid-August, you might be able to win $5 million. And all you have to do to get that $5 million, Mike Lindell says, is prove him wrong. If you attend his cyber symposium, he said on Real America's Voice this week, and prove that the data he has is not from the 2020 election, he will give you $5 million. Lindell says he has booked out 800 hotel rooms for people to come and attend this cyber symposium. So rooms are available, folks, if you want your chance at winning $5 million and, of course, proving this nutcase wrong. All you got to do is show up. Now, here's a problem, though, folks. It's very difficult to disprove a negative, right? We know there was no widespread fraud in the 2020 election.
That guy told me it was crap, but he wouldn't pay it. So he's just like Donald J. Trump, Welchers to the end. Anyway, from this supposed evidence, he recently concluded that he had enough evidence to jail 300 million Americans. Yep, crazy. There are not 300 million registered voters in America as a whole. So I guess a few unregistered voters will have to go to jail along with several million children to make up the 300 million he quoted.
Well, someone who is going to be appearing alongside the former president of the United States is now claiming that he has evidence to imprison 300 million Americans for their actions related to the 2020 election. Now, you might say, wait, David, sir, there are only 258 million adults in the U.S. as of 2020. And of the 258 million, not all of them, not nearly all of them actually voted. Doesn't matter. Pillow says he has evidence to imprison 300-some million people. Take a listen to what he had to say. This is the stuff of insanity.
Everything you're going to see over these next 7 months to get rid of the machines. You're going to see the Supreme Court case coming out. All these great things, everybody. By the way, you can find more at frankspeech.com.
Of course.
I'll put that out there. There are so many. I'm more optimistic today than I have been yesterday, the day before that. I'm on an incline like this. Why? Because it's so amazing. All the things that we have, we already have all the pieces of the puzzle. And you talk about evidence. We had enough evidence to put everybody in prison for life, 300 and some million people. We had that all the way back to November, December.
He has the evidence to put 300 and some million people in prison for life.
I would say this, along with his crazy ideas that China, other foreign governments were involved in perpetrating the fraudulent election of 2020, this would qualify him as a Looney Tune. He's as quackers as Donald Duck and Bugs Bunny. So Lindell is just a recovering crack cocaine addict, selling pillows and making several $1 million in the process when he made his first visit to the White House to meet Trump. It appears that he took Trump's election fraud lies at face value because he was so mesmerized by meeting the thief in office. After the first visit, he had made several other visits, but on one, a photojournalist took a long-shot picture of Lindell's notepad, and on it said that they should call out the National Guard in order to overturn the election. Diaper Don didn't take Lindell's advice at that time, but Lindell was in on the big lie from the beginning, it appears. Lindell is just another of Diaper Don's yes men, who lives in Trump's fantasy land of stalled elections and other conspiracy theories. He operates a website called Frank, which he swears is attacked every few minutes because the site is so often down and usually takes over 30 minutes per fail to fix. He spews crazy ideas about Australia and gets his ideas from a Chinese man in Australia. How crazy is that? Taking a Chinaman's information as fact. China is trying to make Australia another Taiwan, but that's another story. But China has a vested interest in making Australia look bad. Some of Mike's most glorious and brightest moments upstream show just how deluded and fried his brain really is.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs.
They also show just what kind of person Mike Lindell is, and it's another glaring example of the type of people Trump surrounds himself with. Mikey is a pioneer of sorts, selling pillows, lies, and more. As well as being on par with the people who declared tomatoes a fruit, Mike's breaking the status quo with his hot take that C is a number.
Because when you don't have the evidence to support your wild claims, answering questions is as easy as 1, 2, C.
They will be made unconstitutional. That was A. B, declare the November 2020 election results unreliable and therefore void. Number C. Number C. Number C.
Another example that Lindell is detached from reality is his multiple predictions of Trump being reinstated as president. Like a religious zealot predicting the apocalypse or end of the world, Lindell predicted Trump would be reinstated on Thanksgiving.
Let me tell you, this is the big announcement, everyone. I made a promise to this country that we would, that with all the evidence I have, that we would get it to the Supreme Court, and I predicted they would vote 9-0 to look at the evidence. Right now, I asked all the lawyers just yesterday, we are taking this case to the Supreme Court before Thanksgiving.
Months after his loss. But also, like the end of the world predictions, the date came and went without any incident besides a few sad turkeys. And we know who they are. Lindell gives off the energy of a cracked-out circus clown. He comes in, baffles people, craps his pants, sets up Roku, creates a laugh or two, then disappears from an unstable stream connection. A complete tornado. Even his own stream partners that are on each side of him while they're streaming laugh at him and can't take him seriously. Could you? Well, friends, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for coming by and helping in Dispel Trump's myth. As always, please hit the like button and please subscribe. Please leave a comment, and a new video will be out next week. Until then, remember, America needs your vote.